fill in the blank on this question. Give me one word to describe how you feel about the 49er quarterback room. I'll give you mine, but I want to hear yours. What is the one word that you would use to describe how you feel about the 49er quarterback room?
Uncertain.
Uncertain?
Yeah, I feel like there's a question. I feel like it's a really weird quarterback room, right? Because with Brock Purdy, there's an uncertainty with his injury, but he also had 7 games that were, very, very special for a rookie 7th round pick to play the way he did. And he played very well through 7 games. Then you have Trey Lance, who's coming off of a very serious injury in his own right. I don't feel like we talk about that enough when we're talking about him growing this offseason. Like, he's also recovering from a serious injury. And he is so talented, right? There's a reason he was drafted where he was drafted, and the Niners gave up the resources they gave up for him. But it's been 4 games in almost 3 years because he didn't play his final year of college, too. You don't necessarily know exactly where he's at either. We kind of think we know, but we haven't even seen him enough to really know. And then you have Sam Darnold, who's kind of an enigma because he was a player that a lot of people really, really had a high opinion on coming out of the draft. The situation with the Jets was an absolute mess. He didn't play well, but the situation with the Jets was a mess. Then he goes to Carolina and he plays well for a little bit. Carolina also ended up being a mess. And he ended up getting hurt, and there were a variety of issues with protection the first year. Then this second year, he kind of comes back. Everybody's already written him off, and he quietly plays pretty well down the stretch of the season. And then you turn on that last game. I watched it pretty recently, a couple days ago against New Orleans, and it's pretty ugly. They won the game, but I think he was like 5 for 15 for 50 yards with 2 picks, and the stats don't necessarily do it justice. It wasn't a good game for the quarterback. And so he's also kind of a question mark because within all the inconsistency I described are flashes of like really, really high level throws, high level movement in the pocket. Like, he's also a very, very talented player in his own way physically. It's been 55 games. Do you know, can he even bounce back? Whatever. So uncertain is definitely the word I would use, Larry. Uncertain.
Okay, that's fair. I'm gonna go with excited. I'm excited about this quarterback room. One, you got Brock Purdy, who looks really like he's got it. He's accurate and he's quick and he can win games and he's super smart and he can process and he can throw strikes and he's got all this moxie and he looked great. Guy looked freaking great. Then you got Trey Lance, and he's just terrific kid with a howitzer and just premium escapability. And I think there's going to be some premium off schedule stuff coming with Trey. Right. And you're just, the kind of person that you're just like root for. And then you got Darnold. And, the more I look at Darnold, Vish, 5 head coaches, 4 head coaches, 5 offensive coordinators. I mean, that's what happens on bad teams.
Right.
There's no continuity. Offensive football is so much about cohesion. You need that continuity. You can't just have new coaches every year. New system.
We saw it with Alex Smith all those years ago, right?
Right.
When the Niners had 7 coordinators in 7 years. Daniel Jones
me a lot recently.
Of that. There's another example for you.
Bingo. So I just think I look at Darnold and I'm thinking, you know what? The guy kind of showed at the end of last year that the light switch has gone on. He had some positive. His most positive NFL play is his most recent play. His body's not broken. He's still a young guy who's 6'5", pretty athletic. He's going into a system with a really good offensive play caller and maybe the best collection of weapons. The Niners have a bunch of picks to improve the O-line. They only really need maybe 1 or 2 guys to help out and be set. I'm excited. I'm excited about Darnold with this surrounding cast. I'm excited about Purdy's future. I'm excited about Trey's future. I don't know how it's going to shake out. I don't know who's playing. I don't know who's going to be healthy. I don't know exactly how it's going to go, but I'm excited.
It's going to be a fun camp for you watching it play out. And I do want to mention, right, with Darnold also, his skill set in a lot of ways is the perfect fit for this offense. In fact, you know who his skill set kind of reminds me of a lot of
Who?
ways. He's got a lot of Jimmy G in his game, and it's not, they don't look the same, right? Like Sam Darnold is a bigger human being. He's more athletic than Jimmy G, but it's from the standpoint that they have issues late in the down when you have them drop back and what they're looking at immediately is not there. Their feet get a little bit frantic. They may tend to throw the ball up for grabs a little bit. They both have very, very quick releases. One of the things Sam Darnold has really improved, when you remember he came out of USC, he had that really slow, loopy motion where he
Right.
dropped the ball way below his waist. He's really tightened, shortened it up. He has a really, really quick release now. And he's very accurate throwing short intermediate. So he's a great fit for this offense because he's very good at throwing screens, slants, these type of things. Now, for a guy with such a big arm and, such a big guy, he doesn't necessarily throw the ball consistently down the field well. It's just not something he has done. Maybe it was the receivers he's had, maybe it was the offenses, but it's just not something he's done well in the NFL. But he has that skill set combined with the fact that he's athletic, Larry. He's good at throwing on the run. In fact, I would say he's more comfortable throwing on the run than he is within the pocket. He was that way at USC too. And for a big guy, he has really, really quick and soft feet. Like he's a good athlete for a big guy. And one of the things, if you hear any of the Shanahan coaches in any coaching clinic talk about quarterbacks, they talk so much about quarterbacks' feet because so much of this offense, right, it's a timing-based offense. So your feet tell you where to go with the ball. And so they really like quarterbacks with light, sound feet. And Kyle Shanahan in particular, always talks about how he likes quarterbacks who, because the pocket is so messy, quarterbacks who can throw the ball without their feet necessarily being under them or in the right spot. And for all of Jimmy Garoppolo's faults, I thought that was one of his greatest skill sets because of his release and his arm talent. He always had an ability with a guy in his face or a person around him to kind of flick it around them or kind of move out of the way. His feet wouldn't exactly be set, and he would still be able to deliver it there on time and with pace and accuracy. And it could be a 7-yard throw. It doesn't look like much, but if you look at his body position, it is a high level throw. And Sam Darnold has that ability too. A lot of people are saying Sam Darnold is nothing like Jimmy G. I would say that, they don't look similar. One guy is clearly a lot bigger, a lot more athletic, but when you actually zero in their games and what they do well, I think you put him in this offense where a lot of the processing is done. Shanahan gives you such a defined picture of where you need to go with the ball. I think again, it's such a big if with him, right, Larry? Because you don't know if he has the character of an Alex Smith to bounce back from all the things he's been through. It's really hard to bounce back. But if he can, I would say it's this offense with these weapons. He could have success. If there was a place in the
he's
NFL he was going to have
25.
success, it's here. Yeah.
There's all kinds of people in the world. I'm probably one of them, that at 22, all I knew is that I wanted to chase girls and drink beer. By 25, I was starting to figure it out. Right. You know what I mean? That's kind of by 28, 7 or so. I was way, way better. So, I mean, maybe he's just a late bloomer emotionally. Who knows?